Is learning to code still worth it? Let's discuss while playing Hitman. Welcome, agents. Today, we're embarking on a different kind of mission, and mission that's on the minds of many. Is learning to code still worth it? As technology evolves rapidly, there's a lot of speculation about whether coding is still a valuable skill to invest in. But just like every mission in Hitman, there's always a strategy involved. You've got to analyze your options and adapt your approach to achieve your objective. Coding is the same. There's so much you can do with it, and it's still a skill that opens doors to many opportunities. But with the rise of automation, AI, and new tools, the question arises, does coding still hold the same value it did in the past? Just like in a Hitman mission where you may choose different paths to complete your objective, let's dive into how coding fits into today's world and whether it's still a skill worth mastering. Let's break it down, and I'll tell you my thoughts while trying to complete this mission. The first question to ask is, Part 1. The value of coding skills in today's job market. First, let's talk about the job market. In Hitman, you need to understand the environment before making your move, whether it's observing guards, finding weak points, or learning the terrain. Similarly, in coding, you've got to understand how the job market works and where your skills can be most valuable. Coding has been an essential skill for years, but is it still in demand? Absolutely. The tech industry continues to grow, and industries across the board need programmers to create solutions, automate processes, and analyze data. Whether it's a startup looking to create a new app or a healthcare company using technology to improve patient care, coding is crucial. Like in Hitman, you're often tasked with tackling a challenge in different ways, whether it's through brute force or stealth. Coding works the same way. It can be applied to almost any field, whether you're making an app, building a website, or analyzing complex data. The world needs coders, and the demand continues to rise. However, the competition is also fierce. Just like how the more missions you complete in Hitman, the tougher the enemies and challenges become, the same goes for coding. More people are learning to code, but that doesn't mean there aren't plenty of opportunities for the best and most creative developers. You'll need to constantly adapt, learn new languages, and be willing to innovate, just like how a Hitman needs to keep up with changing environments and challenges. Coding may be a competitive field, but it's also an incredibly rewarding one for those who are passionate about technology. Part 2. The evolution of coding. What's changed? Just like the Hitman franchise, which has evolved and adapted with each new game, so has the world of coding. The early days of programming involved low-level code, requiring you to have a deep understanding of the hardware and complex algorithms. It was like trying to navigate a Hitman mission in the dark without a lot of tools or intel. But now, things have changed for the better. Modern coding tools and languages like Python, JavaScript, and Swift have simplified many of the challenges that developers faced in the past. It's like how in Hitman, you now have more ways to approach a mission: disguises, gadgets, and even distraction tools. Now you have a range of libraries, frameworks, and tools that can simplify the development process. In fact, there are many more open source libraries than ever before, which makes creating things faster, more efficient, and less error prone. But just because coding is more accessible doesn't mean it's easy. There's still a lot of complexity in today's world of programming. Just like in Hitman, where the more advanced levels require better planning, the same goes for coding. The more complex applications you try to build, the more difficult the challenges become. You're still going to face the same programming dilemmas, debugging issues, and the constant need to learn new technologies to stay relevant. Coding is simpler to start, but harder to master. Part 3. How accessible is learning to code now? Back in the day, learning to code required a lot of resources, expensive college degrees, long courses, and often years of practice. Think of it like trying to complete a Hitman mission with only one tool. You had limited options, and you had to make them work. But today, we live in a world full of resources, and learning to code is more accessible than ever. With online platforms like Free Code Camp, Codecademy, and Udemy, you can learn at your own pace and focus on what interests you. It's like in Hitman when you can choose your approach, whether it's a stealthy route or a more direct one. Learning to code now allows you to customize your learning path. There are coding bootcamps that can teach you to become a developer in a few months, and they are becoming increasingly popular as a fast-track option. Whether you want to focus on front-end development, back-end programming, or even data science, there's a niche and resource for you. Even better, many of these resources are free, so you don't have to spend a fortune. But just like any Hitman mission, you can't expect to just breeze through the tutorial and call it a day. You'll need to put in the effort and practice if you want to become a master of coding. These resources are just the tools. The real work comes with the application of what you learn. Part 4. AI and the future of coding. Will it replace developers? Now, let's get into a hot topic that's been on everyone's mind, AI. In Hitman, you can use advanced gadgets and tools to enhance your performance, but what if the world of coding becomes like that, where AI tools do most of the work for you? Will coders become obsolete? Or can AI be an ally in the coding process? Let's break it down. AI is changing the game in many industries, and coding is no different. Machine learning algorithms can now write some code for us, and low-code/no-code platforms allow people with little to no coding experience to build apps and websites. GitHub Copilot is an AI tool that can automate coding by suggesting code as you type. It's like having a Hitman AI guiding you through your mission, telling you when to make a move or how to avoid danger. However, AI doesn't replace the need for human programmers. It's more like a tool in your arsenal. In Hitman, gadgets and tools make your mission easier, but you still need to use your brain to strategize. Similarly, AI and coding can assist with repetitive tasks, code completion, and even bug fixing, but it still requires a human to understand the big picture, make creative decisions, and solve complex problems. Think of AI as a silenced pistol in your arsenal. It can help, but you still need the skills to pull off a perfect mission. Part 5. Are you better off learning on your own? So, we've talked about traditional education versus self-learning, but what's really the best way to learn coding? Do you need a degree, or can you just learn on your own? In Hitman, there are many ways to complete a mission, but sometimes the best results come from thinking outside the box. So how does that apply to learning to code? There are plenty of self-taught developers who have built successful careers through online resources, real-world projects, and trial and error. It's like when you approach a Hitman mission and come up with your own solution, whether it's sneaking through the back door or using a distraction. The best self-taught developers are problem solvers, just like Hitman when you need to solve each mission's unique challenges. But is this the best approach for everyone? Not necessarily. If you are the type of person who needs structure and guidance, a degree might be the better option. However, if you're self-motivated, learning coding on your own can lead to greater freedom and creative control. The key is to find what works for you, and just like in Hitman, flexibility and the ability to adapt will get you far. Part 6. Final thoughts. Is learning to code still worth it? So, is learning to code still worth it? After everything we've discussed today, the answer is clear: yes. Coding is still a valuable skill, and it opens up a world of possibilities in nearly every industry. Whether you want to work in tech, build websites, create mobile apps, or even automate your own business, learning to code gives you the tools to make that happen. The landscape has changed, and the tools available now are better than ever. AI is a useful assistant, but it will never replace the need for creative, strategic thinking, just like in Hitman, where you need to think ahead to complete your mission. The future of coding is still bright, and whether you're learning through a degree, a bootcamp, or self-study, it's worth investing your time and energy into mastering the craft. So, what are your thoughts? Are you planning to learn to code, or have you already started your journey? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. And now, mission complete, time to escape.